Here's the truck. Wow. Truck is in shop. Wow. So as of right now today, it is a little over 2 years that my 68 C10 has been sitting parked. Now that might come off kind of weird to you, like, why is your truck sitting when you have a 370 horsepower swapped LS engine in the truck? I think we finally came to the conclusion as to why it was parked in the first place. We're gonna go into that a little bit later in this video, but the first thing we want to address on the hand. So the first thing on hand that we want to address is what you saw from the title of the video. Why this isn't running. Like, what's the issue as to why it's running? Basically, we went to start it, to pull it out of the garage and bring it over to the shop to start working on it, and the thing was running really weird. It was kind of running on like 2 cylinders. It was really weird. It was like cluck, clunk, cluck, clunk, cluck, clunk. I can't even mimic it if I wanted to. So the master mechanic is going to elaborate to the best of the master mechanic's ability as to what in the world is going on. Then we're going to pull this engine out and get to the bottom as to what happened. So let's go.
A little backup on here. We have a video on this saying that we had a problem with it not starting. So we did the, used to have an A1000 on it, external pump with a rear mounted carbureted gas tank that we did. There's a video on that, changing the tank. This is the bottom side of it. You see we added the sump. It has dash 12, and then a pre-filter, and then the A1000. We went to the Boyd Welding aluminum rear tank cell, you could call it, and we went to the Aeromotive stealth pump inside the tank, which is a smaller line. It used to have a dash 8 feed line, and then the stealth has a dash 6. Everything was good. So we put the pump in there, filled it up with the gas, fired right up, everybody was happy. So the proud cameraman drove it to work. This is all back a couple years ago. Drove it to work, and it fine. Drove home, no big deal. Parked in the driveway. Well, the next day I went to go to work again, wouldn't start. Well, in between that, we got gas, nameless gas station. We got gas. So what I think what happened was, come to find out, I think we got a bunch of junk gas. Everything was good up here. We could start it on brake cleaner, as you could see if you watched the other video. So it sat. We put the Nova together. The proud Camaro owner wanted to drive the Nova. Wait, no, the proud 68 C10, proud 68 C10 owner wanted to drive the Nova. So we put the Nova together. This thing sat. And then I think what happened was we got gas that had a lot of water content in the fuel. And I think it messed up the pump because we went to get it started from sitting to get it back going again. And the gas looked weird. It really watered down. We wound up pumping the gas out of it, and we put it in the dually. It ran in the dually, and I think it's the worst that truck has ever ran. It barely made it up on a road trip, so the gas was definitely no good. So then we couldn't get it started. We had a problem with fuel pressure, even though it was a brand new stealth pump. So we added an Aeromotive up here. So we used the intake pump to pretty much prime the Aeromotive A1000 to get our fuel pressure up. And then, once you know it, started up, ran like a champ again. So we're like, okay, great, we found the problem. So then the truck's out again, you know, more than one thing to work on. Well, we had the engine sold. We'll see after all this, but we sold the engine and tranny. So
yeah, to the guy we sold it to, don't get concerned yet.
Let's find out, let's get to the bottom of it. So we had it sold. So we go to move the truck over here to pull the engine and tranny out of it and get moving. So we go to start it, and now it wants to run like crap again. It's running on like 2 cylinders. 4, I think just running like garbage. So then it stalls. We're like, what the heck? Go to start it again, made a horrible bang, and then it seems like it's locked up. So I don't know if hydraulic, I don't know if one of the injectors, because of the moisture, rusted up and stuck open. Somebody's not happy. So we're gonna get the engine out of this thing. The engine and tranny is gonna be changed from this truck. We're gonna find out what happened to it and see if it is damaged, or maybe I just wasn't strong enough or didn't want to push it hard enough to go against the compression. We're pulling it out. So we're going to get the fenders. We already pulled the hood off. We're going to take the fenders back off of it. We're going to take the core support off just to make it easier, because we're going to do some more work to the truck. And then we're going to pull the engine tranny out. We're going to see what's going on. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get the water drain and the coolant, and we're going to get it out.
Pizza. Yeah.
We got the engine out. Kind of interesting because this is the first time that we've taken the whole front end off of the truck. Last time we put the engine in it, we only took the hood off. I mean, this isn't no standard conventional small block. It takes a little bit of time to get it out with all the extra wiring and stuff. That it's not that bad though, but this just takes a little more work. So it's kind of cool. It's actually in really good shape, frame and everything. Some of the stuff we're gonna clean up and change. And you can see that I took the power steering pump off at the box here. That's because the new engine has a different power steering drive system. So that's why I took the power steering pump off. And then this harness is gonna come out and stay with this. It goes with this engine. Make sure you go down and subscribe to see what we're gonna put in here. It's really tricked though, but the new setup has a different drive on it. And then while the engine's out, we're gonna finish. You can see here I got a marked hole because I tried to weld that from the inside and it still had a little pinhole in it, you could see. So I want to remind myself, so I'm gonna finish the metal work on the firewall and I'm gonna redo that. I'm gonna cut that out and do it all one piece instead of doing it in two pieces. And I got a little carried away. I did a little quick and I got too hot and it warped it a little bit. Enough for this thing, enough for this jalopy. You gotta subscribe, see what's going on with this. We're gonna get this engine apart and see what happened to this one. So when we were pulling it out of the truck, you know, we took the headers off and I took all the spark plugs out just to see if there's any damage to any of the plugs or anything, because I think it may hydraulic one of the cylinders. The passenger side looked good, nothing crazy over here, but then I took the driver's side off. Number 5 cylinder was just full of fuel, just full. We cranked it over and it was like Geyser Old Faithful. It got me a little concerned. So I was just gonna do a compression test and see, but I would still have doubt and worry if it could have been a rod. So I think I'm just gonna pull the heads off. This is just an 01 6-liter. These are the stock heads, and they're the 317s, which technically they're not the most dazzling heads for a naturally aspirated setup. So as long as the bottom end's good, we have plan B on the heads. But I think I'm just gonna pull the heads off. I'm not gonna worry about doing a compression test. So I'm gonna start stripping it down. And I just wanna verify that the short block and everything is all good. How do we look? Well, the valve train's gonna be fine. We got the Z06 valve springs on this bad boy. All right, so now I'm gonna take the rocker shaft off. We got both valve covers. I don't really need to take the rockers off to get the heads off. I could probably do it without it, but we can get them out of the way. Normally, if you have a cylinder hydraulic, it does it because the valves are closed, so you shouldn't have a problem with the valve train. All the push rods are going to be, this is just stock push rod, but make sure none of them looks bent or anything. All the push rods look good.
What's it looking like then?
Well, like I said, if it did indeed hydraulic, the valves would have been closed because you can't compress a liquid. So if the valves are closed, you know, up against the head, and then you have your piston coming up, and if it decides to fire that liquid, in this case it's fuel in the cylinder, then it's a bigger explosion and more volume than it's used to, and that's why it can potentially bend the rod. So I'm gonna take all the top ones out first here. And I vacuumed this all off yesterday. It had some debris and stuff on it.
Beat stop.
I'm not too worried. There's a problem over here, but we're checking both. So we're gonna spin it over, and we wanna make sure they all come to the same height of the cylinder here. So they should all come to the top. Looks like it got a little bit of moisture in it when it was sitting. Nothing crazy. So that one looks good. That one goes same. All the way to the top. All the way to the top. All the way to the top. So that looks good on this side. Let's check the driver's side now. This is the one that's in question. See how it's like wetter?
Looks like a different color.
Yeah, it's all the fuel. Yeah, it got like rinsed out. This side here looks like it got a little more moisture in it. But still, nothing life-threatening. So this side looks, so now we're here, so number 1's all the way to the top. Yeah, as you see, it still has some fuel in it. Crazy. So number 1's good, so let's see what we got here. So this is the one that's in question. It's coming up now, number 5. Oh, that looks good. Oh, no, it doesn't look good. It's down in the hole. Uh-oh. How does this one look? Yep.
Same thing?
No, that one comes to the top. That one comes to the top. Number 5 there, I think might have a problem. Yep, it's down in the hole. I think that rod got bent. I think it hydraulicked it. All right, so we called the new owner of the engine, explain what happened and what's going on. He's fine with fixing it, so we're gonna take it apart. We're gonna separate the tranny. We're gonna strip the engine all the way down. See if we can. Probably won't be able to tell just by looking at the rod that it's, you know, the bend, but you can see that it's not going to the top of the hole, so it's definitely a problem. And then it's got some, I don't know, from sitting, looks like a little moisture in there, but so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna strip it down. We're gonna get a set of rods and pistons, or a rod set of pistons. Stock rods are you know, plenty strong enough for what this engine is going to be used for. So I might just get one replacement rod, set of pistons. We'll get it bored. So now I'm gonna go ahead and strip it down. So I'm gonna, you know, obviously we're gonna reuse the cam, and the lifters and everything are pretty much new. So we gotta package everything up, make sure it's clean and put away. So let's get started. Strip it down. Oh, looks good. Cam looks good. Lifters look good. It's not that old. We only put it in there, what, 3 years ago or so. So valve train's definitely nice. The timing chain, it was a single roller or single timing chain. It was a little loose. I'll probably get a new chain.
Which means it's a single roller, right? Single timing chain.
Well, it's not necessarily a roller. It could just be a single timing chain. They're not all rollers. And just a little tidbit. This isn't an LQ4. This is an LQ9. LQ9 is the high compression, high output. LQ4 is lower compression. It's a little tidbit on your L people.
So this is supposed to be the bad one right here. So let's see if that's the case. Here it comes. Let's check it out.
Oh, you can see it. Oh yeah. You can see it. There.
Can you see it? Where? Oh yeah, it's crooked there.
See a normal one?
It's definitely, oh yeah, look at that. So normal on the left,
It's got a little less in it.
bent on the right. Yeah, you can definitely tell. You can see that, you can see it's not straight by any means. Well, now we got an engine graveyard. Just got the, oh, there's the crankshaft. I was trying to find where the crankshaft was. Crankshaft's out of it. Everything's out of the block, so it's ready to be fixed, ready to be bored. We got all of the old parts and the boxes right here. We got pretty much like timing covers, other than the crankshaft. It's like all covers, and there's some lifters in there too. Pan gasket's gonna probably be reused. It's in pretty good shape. It's pretty new. And then we got coils, other miscellaneous bolts and sensors in this one. It was crazy. Some of these pistons, the rings are like stuck in here. I can't demonstrate it very well, but you can see this second one is sticking out, but the top one is not sticking out. It's like stuck in there. We're probably definitely gonna lean towards getting new pistons and rods, because these are the original pistons and rods from when we bought this engine, so we don't know how many miles are on these pistons and rods to begin with. Regardless of that, it still ran really good. Like, this engine ran really good for the truck it was in. When we went through this engine, we upgraded to ARP rod bolts. There you go, see? Yeah, ARP rod bolts. So this thing was pretty nice. Had a nice cam in it, a nice valve train upgrade with the springs. This thing ran good. So now we gotta clean up. Sticking crap everywhere. We got to push the truck back in here. It's like halfway pushed out of the shop. Unlike Big Red's engine that we tore apart, this one isn't junk. This one definitely could be rebuildable and reused.
The block didn't get destroyed by a lifter. Just a rod got a little less.
Yeah.
Either way, we're gonna get pistons. It's gonna be bored. It's gonna be balanced.
Yeah, we're not using the heads, and we're not using the intake or the oil pan, obviously, because we're scrapping that oil pan or the drive system. So there's a few things that are going to be changed around going into the next car.
All right, so you know what you got to do. You got to like,
share,
subscribe, and you got to come on back, man. You got to comment. You got to tell us about all this junk.
Yeah.
See you next time. Bye-bye.